Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FSPN Faction Sports Programming Network. My name is Payne, and today we are taking a look at the EMEA conference, stepping a step away from the NA over the sea, and we have an absolute hammer of a matchup today. I hope everybody's super excited for it. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, I've got two incredible guests that I have to make sure that everybody gets introduced to. I'm joined today by fellow PvP Academia faculty member, Master Spleen, and of course, Wasted Potential Zone 23 EJB, fellow Diamond Tier player in this faction, here to give us a little bit of insight on how high of a level these competitive games get to be. Spleen, how are you doing today? EJ, how are you doing today, my friend? Thank you so much for joining us today. That's good. I'm happy to hear it. Well, before we keep anybody waiting too long, we can go ahead and take a look at the teams we will be taking a look at today. We've got Team Grookey, we've got EU Emperors. I don't think it's even arguable. These are two of the top teams currently competing in the EMEA faction. These players are all at a different caliber, a different level of play. But of course, we are in the factions format. So anybody who's not super familiar with factions, not super familiar with how the formats work, we are taking a look at three different open leagues, that being Open Great League, Open Ultra League, and Open Master. And of course, we are taking a look at Nightfall and Dungeon. Just give me one quick moment. I think we're having some small technical issues. I don't think anybody can hear you. That's no good. I don't think anybody can hear you. Oh, that's no good. Let me get to the bottom of this. I'm so sorry, everybody. Please hold. Thank you for your patience. Spleen, can you give me a hello? Give me a how's it going? Hello, hello. How's it going? You're doing great. Oh no, it's still just me. I'm so sorry, everybody. Audio output source.
Try to mute us in
No, I think
Discord
we
and
should be
unmute
good.
us
I think we
later.
should be good to go now. If you want to say hello, how's it going? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, I think that we are all good to go there, rock and roll. I'm so sorry, everybody. I swear that this isn't my first time. I am the local expert, but it's not. It is my first time, and I'm not the local expert, and that's how it goes. But hopping right back into these games, hopping right back into this faction matchup. How it works, we're going to take a look at two games from the Dungeon Field meta. We're going to look at two games from the Nightfall Cup. We're going to look at Open Great League, Open Ultra League, Open Master League. We've got all of the players right on the side there. Now that everybody's been muted, I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing from me. Spleen, why don't you give us a quick breakdown on what we can expect out of Team Grookey and some of these players and some of the highlights?
Yeah, definitely. So as I was telling just before, amazing a group of amazing battlers here at Team Grookey. An interesting project as well to follow for those who are hearing us and don't know. I really advise you to go check Team Grookey project. It's let's say an online sim Pokemon Go type of app that's going to be a release website app. It's going to be a release so that you can sim different matchups, different months that are going to be to be even unreleased, and you can customize the move set, and it's very interesting. If we look at the team, let's start with the captain, Adib Khan. So Adib Khan is currently a legend, Silph legend, rank 10 on the world's leaderboard, and is coming from the USA. Jensen one is going to be to play the Ultra League and is coming from the US as well. And we have people from all over the world here. Marco, he's an Italian living in Germany. He was elite this season on Silph and is rank 10 on the German leaderboard. Then we have Roger Shen. Roger Shen is the best, at least last this season, is the best Taiwanese player and elite as well. After that, we have Creator. I think that most of you must be familiar if you play Silph with Creator. Amazing battler from the US that reached elite last year and super nice person as well. Then we go to Azare, fellow streamer from Scotland. Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat that J Engineer say that Azare is not Scott. Yeah, he has also Luso roots. But Azare was elite as well last year, one of the best UK battler and one of the best battler in the world. And last but not least, we have Shidori X-Day that was as well elite and coming from the US.
Terrific. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very excited to see these teams. All biasness aside, Cracer, good friend of mine. I love that guy. I can't wait to get into those battles. But on the opposing side, it is not going to be an easy journey for Team Grookey. They have got one of the strongest factions on the planet to get through. EJ, do you want to give us a super quick breakdown on EU Emperors and some of the players
Yeah,
that we should look to watch?
of course. Yeah, sure. Let's start with the captain. I'm actually really hyped for this Great League, Open Great League battle against the Silph Legend, against the PvP GBL Legend, who is pretty much one of the best players in the world, and it's be actually a really sweaty game.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have on Ultra League like Inadequance, also a streamer on Twitch and a really good content creator. Also, for sure, one of the best battlers in the world. We have Savage Boy on Master League, which is interesting. He's, I think, #1 in Norway and number 17 in the world. Also a Silph Legend. This will be also really good battle. But not look at the Silph ranks on the last 4. Those are also really high, high skilled players. And looking forward how this will go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, I mean, of course, the content creation kings of Europe, Inadequance and Technical. I don't think it's even arguable that anybody has quite the impact on how the GBL meta shifts and rotates nearly as much as those two players do. So very excited to see how they stand up against legends on Team Grookey. But I mean, all introductions aside, we can sit and talk about these players and praise their accomplishments until the cows come home. I think that everybody, and myself included, is excited to get into these games. So the first game that we are going to be taking a look at today is going to be the dungeon matchup between Roger Chen 40 and I'm about to embarrass myself, so I'll take the knee here. But Dash, Dash, please somebody save me. I'm drowning here. Somebody save me. Okay. That's about like 60% embarrassment. I could have done worse. I could have done worse. I'll yield North American arrogance on that one. But this is going to be an incredible game. The dungeon meta is definitely any meta that allows dragons in the eligible typing as a whole and not just as a product of a secondary typing always have this very interesting shift where a lot of these other dragon breath Pokemon can sort of tend to come in and really take over. And we can see that in the Gyarados, almost 100% going to be taking that Dragon Breath. And of course, Steel typing as well into the Ferrothorn. We've got Flygons, we've got everything here. Spleen, as far as these two teams go, just based on the Pokemon that we can see here, where do you think that the advantage might lie between these two players?
I'm muted again.
Oh my goodness. I think that might be the case, but I think that it's just me maybe getting some. I'll blame this on first time nerves. I did have this all set up, but I of course I went ahead and unset it all up as well. I think we should be good to go here, and everybody should be 100% if you want to get a test. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hello,
There we
hello.
go. I can see.
Hello again.
I can see us pumping up. So I see what's happened here. So I promise everybody, thank you so much for your patience. I promise I'll get these fixed just as soon as we shift into these next scenes. I do recognize the error in my ways, and I apologize, and I plead forgiveness. But Spleen was giving an excellent breakdown on sort of how these teams line up, going through the pseudo triple dragon on Roger Chen's team and highlighting the impact of Swampert on the opposing team. EJ, in terms of where these players line up with the Pokemon available, where do you think the advantage might lie as well?
I think the advantage is slightly in Watcher's side. The three dragons are kind of annoying for this team. Also, the team from Alep Funflasher is kind of squishy with the Swampert, Golf, and Gyarados Gengar. He can't really stand fast move pressure, and I think it's all about the alignment. Ferrothorn has, except for Swampert and Jelly, nowhere to go. And this will be a really interesting game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that just to pick favorites in terms of Pokemon available, Heracross likely rocking that new charge move update in Rock Blast definitely gives it a little more play against some Pokemon, potentially like Galvantula and Gyarados. But it'll be interesting to see how these teams definitely line up. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the game one, transition right through 1 through 3, and I promise I will make sure that you can hear Spleen and EJ crystal clear. You won't miss a thing jumping into these games. So let's hop right into game one.
Yeah, swapping into Svilas from Roger's side and answering with Gyarados.
This is kind of a huge situation for Elephant because he got the alignment and he can keep it just by using one shield.
Yeah, exactly. And here, really nice charge move timing, throwing the Aquatail just before the Svilas reaching the body slam. But this doesn't
The
KO.
body slam.
This is
Don't know
huge
if this
because
KO is either. Might be
it
really
might,
close.
yeah, it might KO. Anyway, Fan wants to keep switch. Makes sense,
Going
but
down
now he's
two
down.
shields.
Yeah, he's down 2 shields. And he's going to come back with the Jellicent. Roger will he call the crunch here?
No shield. Makes sense because taking move and wow.
Yeah, and I think on Roger's side, trying to gain a bit of energy lead in order
Yes.
to be able to have an energy advantage. We know Steelix charges quite slowly.
I think an extra Dragon Tailing.
Yeah, an extra Dragon Tail coming through here. That could be huge. It's going to shield the Power Whip. Building a bit more energy. And he's going to throw the Earthquake right before the Ferrothorn reaching the Power Whip here. Does some nice damage. It's going to use
the second shield.
Yeah, he's spending his second shield.
He's probably expecting the dragon in the back. That's why he tries to keep the health, which makes a lot of sense. Here we see the crunch to take out the Ferrothorn.
Yeah, the crunch will take out this Ferrothorn, and indeed in the back, it's a Flygon, a Dragon Tail Flygon as well, worth noticing. But the Flygon needs to reach the Earth Power, and this
Not able to.
Steelix will reach the Earthquake before. So very nice job by Roger on to putting pressure and forcing his opponent to use 2 shields in the counter swap.
Yes. Double lead. Going down 2 shields is also really scary with such a squishy Pokemon in the back.
And Elemphan going again with the Ferrothorn, but this time Roger is leading with the Sphalos.
It's also interesting backline. We see basically triple dragon here on Roger's side. It's a really interesting backline.
And this swapping to Dragalge here. It's really cold. Calling the Aquatail that does resisted damage thanks to the Dragon typing.
Yes. And I mean, alignment doesn't really matter because he has good matchups in the back anyways. Oh, not
Ooh, this is bad. I think that was maybe an overtap here on the
yes,
Aquatel.
yes. See Swiler's coming back in.
Yeah, as well as coming back in, loading a bit of energy. And Roger still has two shields here. And it's going to be a fly gun. That could be potentially dangerous for Roger if the fly gun can
Yes.
load a lot of energy. Obviously, a shield coming here, and this is going
Yes.
to insta swap into the Steelix.
So Steelix still has two shields, so this should be a quite clear ending here.
Yeah,
I see
makes
trying
sense
to
for
call a bait, yeah.
yeah, it makes sense to bait and to swap into
Yes.
the Ferrothorn.
Extra bullet seed?
Steelix going straight for the Earthquake here. And yeah, let's see. He's going
This
to shield the first one, but because of this extra bullet seed, before he's able to reach another power whip, before the Steelix can reach a move. Ooh.
this will be a really close ending here. Egong still has some energy.
Yeah, the Flygon still has some energy, but
The extra dragon tails.
will this Dragon Claw be enough to KO the Steelix? It
Barely hangs
doesn't.
on. Oh,
And that's Roger taking game two here. How do you feel the players are going to adapt for game three?
yeah. I think Alapfan has kind of bad luck with aligning the Ferrothorn. Doesn't really have a good safe swap against this team because he always has to go down at least one shield.
Hmm.
It might be hard to play around this. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Ferrothorn in game three, and wouldn't be surprised if we see a triple Dragon Teen again on Watcher's side.
To bring a harder answer to the Steelix because the Steelix was key for Roger, and this time leading with the Flygon into the Jellicent. So it's going to be interesting. I'm seeing that the Jelly, I think, is carrying, yes, he's carrying Ice Beam as well, so that could be dangerous. Farming a lot of energy, and here the Flygon going straight for the Earth Power.
Interesting throwing on the CMP tie.
Yeah, and
Barely hangs on
huge.
for some huge damage.
Yeah, some huge neutral damage. And he's going to shield. Makes sense because he is going to be able to farm down with one additional Dragon Tail
See
and
an instant
swapping.
swap into Gyarados. This is an interesting matchup.
Yeah, obviously. The Crunch is going to do some nice neutral damage on us on the squishy Gyarados.
Oh, and the
But
defense drop.
oh, yeah, that could be a game-changing factor here. The defense drop. Aquatel does some nice damage, but Roger is going to
And
use a
out.
shield and to swap
Oh, and
into
not
the
able to get up.
Xylus. It's okay, I guess.
I think so
He
too.
will.
Have a really good
Yeah,
matchup in the back with the Swampert on the Steelix. Going to invest the shield here.
going to invest a shield and is yes going to try to force maybe the last shield,
See a no shield.
which makes sense because he
Yes.
has a great matchup with the Steelix in the back. But this time we see the Swampert. I
Yeah.
was calling for a greater answer against the Steelix, and here we come, Swampert. He's going to shield the Hydro, and now it's going to be a race to see if will this Hydro cannon KO the Steelix.
Does enough.
It does, and it allows Elephant to win one game in this matchup. We all know that if one of them is going 3-0, that could be a huge advantage. So grabbing this victory could be huge in this matchup.
100%, 100%. It's kind of the worst thing that could happen for the whole team.
Let me make sure that I'm not now muted. Absolutely, that was quite an incredible game there, and we do see the impact on how these dragons can shift matchups depending on one team for another. We saw the adaptation from Elep there at the end, bringing in that Swampert to match the Steelix in the back, and because of team formats and every game being just as impactful as the last, Elep being able to get that last game of that best of three is more impactful and more important than you would expect in a traditional single player tournament or single player event, being that these matchups are going to all come down to the wire. They're all going to matter. And being able to get even a single win in any of these games is going to be, like I mentioned, super impactful and super important. But hopping into the next dungeon game, we've got Cracer versus Francisco. And we do see a similar makeup that we saw in some of the last teams, except we notice a couple differences in what Francisco is bringing, that being primarily the Pelipper and the Roserade. These two Pokemon definitely very interesting in this format, utilizing primarily like some secondary typings to sneak their way in. But early statistics for how this format has been shaping up and Pokemon's performances, Pelipper has been one of the highest performing Pokemon, at least in the Gold Plus for these factions globally. Spleen, looking at these two teams, generally, where do you think that the advantage is going to go?
Yeah, I'm seeing, if you remember, Roger was carrying 3 pseudo dragons. This time, Creator is, I assume, carrying 4 pseudo dragons, unless the Flygon is a matched Flygon. So probably is going to rely in all the games in a somewhat a double dragon strategy, or at least he will pretend he will try to lure out. So I think that it's going to be difficult, depending for Francisco here, because the Galvantula, it's complicated for the Galvantula against the Flygon, against the Steelix, in a way. So I don't know, what do you think, EJ? But I think we are going to see a lot of dragons in those 3 next matches.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, the Galvantula has some play. You can beat the Toxicroak. The Gyarados, you have a pretty good matchup, so the Jellicent and Swilers, you win the 0s and 1s. I wouldn't be surprised to see this, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Creator side like a Toxicroak lead, save swap to lure out the Steelix. If the Steelix is gone, we kind of can see a Flygon sweep in the back.
Yeah, definitely. And even if the Flygon is running that Mudshot, it does farm up to those Dragon Claws so fast, it's hard to even attribute it to not being a primary Dragon user. And we do see, as we mentioned when we first started taking a look at the dungeon overview, how format warping and meta defining these Dragon Pokemon can be, and especially the pseudo Dragons utilizing Dragon Breath, while maybe not having the Dragon typing as well. But we'll go ahead and hop right into this next game. This is going to be a single pan game. We were only able to get the footage from Cracer's side, so we're going to look at Cracer's POV, and we're going to see if Francisco can help even out the scores between these two teams. Let's hop into it.
Yeah, let's see. Curious, and if the Flygon is running Mudshot, is definitely one of the best save swap in the game. And as predicted here, Creator leading with the Toxic Rogue and finding the Steelix.
Yeah, absolutely. A very good lead, switching right into the Roserade and Kracer responding with a Zweilous. It's really hard to shape up, the beginning of the game better than this. The Zweilous is not going to have to
Yeah,
invest the shield into this matchup. Going to be a-okay just eating these weather balls. Nothing. It's pebbles.
yeah, exactly. Probably going to farm down here. It's let's see. Shielding the Leaf Storm,
Ooh,
really good call on
absolutely.
Creator side.
Yeah,
And now we
definitely.
can farm down. He has a bunch of energy.
Yeah, 100%. And can just toss these charge moves right into the Steelix here. Just sort of any kind of extra damage that can be piled on there to help compound into the Toxicroak is going to be helpful. And, Zweilous fine to go down here. If you can get to the extra Dark Pulse, that's even better.
Ooh. Yes, reaching the next Dark Pulse, it's going to be huge. I don't see Francisco committing to a shield because there is still the Toxic Rogue that's going to come right after.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe even correctly guessing that investing a shield would have just provided the Toxicroak an opportunity to counter down and to amass a bigger energy lead. So conserving that shield, maintaining a two shield advantage, is going to be able to get one of these charge moves off on this Toxicroak, and we are going to see the shield
Yeah.
invested there.
And is going for the crunch and swapping into the Pelipper aggressively. And now it's going to be an interesting game because Tracer doesn't have a shield anymore. And those weather balls are going to do some nice neutral damage here.
Yeah, even a nerfed weather ball is still going to chunk, and this charge move here not going to be quite enough to get this Pelipper down, and Pelipper being able to get any extra fast moves onto this Toxicroak is going to be helpful. Yeah, we do see the last weather ball come out. That is going to be enough to say c'est la
Yeah,
vie to this Flygon.
to take the Flygon out, and unfortunately, let's see if he can. Yeah,
Yeah, this is
this weather ball shouldn't KO, but it's going to put the Toxic Rogue in the red.
Yeah, absolutely. And even back-to-back mud bombs here, not nearly going to be enough to help cobble this one together. It does look like the writing might be on the wall. Tossing out that last shield and the last fast move there,
Yeah,
able to take out that Toxicroak. So, we saw some good alignment. We did see the Toxicroak come into the Steelix. It's hard to ask for a better lead than that, but we do see the impact on Pelipper and how it can shift some of those games. Those weather balls get charged up so fast, and they have such an impact on that Flygon that Flygon really didn't even get to do a whole ton of work, but we did see the Dragon Tail fast move. So we are running that quad Dragon type fast moves on the side of Kracer. It'll be interesting
yeah,
to see how he adapts. Spleen, what do you expect to see going into the second game?
yeah, exactly. Because having the lead, and we were discussing just before how he was looking to align the Toxic Rogue on the Steelix, but I think he got a bit, let's say, outcomp for this first game. Francisco reading quite well what Creator will bring as a line. So I'm curious to see in this next game how both players are going to adapt. Creator to the info he got from on Francisco side, and on Francisco side, if he is going to keep the same strategy or if he's going to adapt to potential changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll hop right into the second game here. No need to keep us waiting. Let me make sure here. And we do see the Galvantula come out this time as well, right into Jellicent.
Ooh.
That's not where you want to see.
Yeah, this is a really bad lead, swapping directly into the Steelix, and Francisco answering with the Pelipper.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how these players want to manage their shields in this matchup. But these weather balls super effective. They are going to hurt the Steelix fast.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if Francisco decides to shield here. He can tank definitely a crunch, and Creator got the defense. That's
Absolutely.
that's huge.
Yeah, that certainly helps quite a bit. It might even force the issue. We do see a little bit of lag there. But as
Yeah,
I was mentioning, it might force if Cracer can invest his shield here, the next crunch might demand either that second shield or the switch advantage back for Cracer. We'll see.
yeah,
We'll see what Francisco decides to do here.
exactly. This crunch is definitely going to KO if it goes unshielded, and he decides to shield.
Absolutely.
Going, ooh, this is
Ooh,
huge. Reaching the weather ball, and now it's up to Creator to decide if he wants to keep switch or to keep one shield. He goes for the shield.
absolutely. And we'll see. Okay, man, it wants to get the extra charge onto the Jellicent here. Surely the Galvantula going to come back in, and
Yeah, exactly.
Cracer deciding that he's happy to stick in here, maybe invest the shield and toss some of these shadow balls.
Really called the lunge.
Ooh,
Oh, it was a discharge, so really a well shield here. It's going to charge a bit more.
absolutely here, going for the shadow ball and Galvantula, and not a Pokemon that likes to tank these shadow balls for sure. Putting the
Yeah,
lights out for that one, and Toxicroak
and
able to match up against the Steelix.
this is
That's
huge.
absolutely. This is going to be quite the tall order for Steelix. I don't think that there's any possible way here.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know if I might be able to maybe to reach the earthquake. No, it doesn't. But even like that, he will have the jelly in the back to finish him
Yeah,
to finish him
absolutely.
off.
Yeah, being able to
So
rely on that Jellicent, even if something goes wrong, it definitely helps there. And we saw 2 games in a row now where players that came into a situation with a definitely an unfavorable lead managed to expertly pilot the game and take the win. So we can definitely see that there is more to these games, and these higher caliber players are able to identify their win cons, able to identify where the weaknesses on their comps lie and manage to get the most out of it. Jellicent maybe not being a Pokemon that you'd expect to be able to play into a Galvantula lead, but managing to get that extra energy farm on it, save the extra shield for it, get the Shadow Ball out on that Galvantula, just excellent play there from Cracer. We'll see how these players decide to adapt into Game 3.
yeah, exactly. And just something I would like to point out is that it was really smart by Creator to come in with the jelly. You will assume that you will want it to have some maybe some energy on the Toxicroak to be able to throw a mud bomb, for example, at the Galv. But I think that the right play was what Creator did. I mean, being able to have a bit of energy lead and then throw the Shadow Ball out the Galv knowing that the Steelix was in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredibly piloted. And we'll go ahead and hop right into the Game 3 here. We'll decide, or we'll see rather, how these players decide to adapt. And we get a Toxie into
And
Steelix.
yeah, let's see if it's like in game one
Yeah,
now.
definitely. Let's see if the patterns are able to repeat themselves. Pelipper, as well as able to come in and catch the Pelipper. We are seeing a very similar pattern flow towards what we saw in the Game 1 spleen.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if Francisco is going to shield the Dark Pulse. That will be ton of damage. He doesn't. He was trying to reach, I'm sure, the Hurricane here, but it's really well played by Creator here.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe correctly recognizing that the Dark Pulse was the best bet to go. It is harder to get that Hurricane without being willing to invest some of those shields. Getting a
Ooh,
second Dark
and
Pulse off too here against the Steelix
yeah,
is certainly the cherry on top of the cake.
yeah, exactly. This is going to do some nice neutral damage, and like he cannot afford to shield again the Steelix because it's going to be farmed down by the Toxicroak. So here, Creator thinking what if he should bring the Toxie? Yes, he does. What do you think Francisco could have in the back?
I mean, it's definitely hard. These players have done such a great job in adapting their lineups. We see the Heracross, and Flygon going to come in
Ooh.
here and match that Heracross, no problems at all.
Yeah, exactly. The depending on the moveset the Heracross is going to run, it can resist the Rock Blast, but all the other moves are going to hurt the Flygon, which is will remain a very squishy boy. that Dracontel that went through, unfortunately, is going to let that go, and it's a close combat.
Yeah, close combat here. Oh, Heracross able to farm up to the second move. We'll see if Cracer wants to invest the second shield here. I would be surprised. Oh, does want to shield up that close combat.
Yeah, and this is going to be a very, very close game. Francisco still has a shield.
Absolutely.
Ooh, if it's the earthquake, that could flip the matchup, and
Oh,
it's
just a
only a
crunch. Yeah, so
crunch.
that is going to be the end. Francisco going down with the shield, and the Team Grookey dungeon players able to deliver great results in both of the Dungeon Fields games. Able to glitch through some 2-1s. Certainly a good spot to be. Certainly a good way to start these factions match up. And we did see the Heracross managed to come in there. Didn't do a whole lot. But definitely some amazing piloting by Cracer there for sure.
Yeah, and Team Grookey taking a 2-point lead after the 2 games, so on the right track here in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopping back into our team overview here, we're going to hop right over into the Nightfall matches next. We do have Ricky 1990 versus LND Azare. Spleen EJ, as far as the Nightfall meta goes, this is certainly something that is not a new format, especially for either of these players at such a high caliber. Both of them surely have plenty of experience in this format. It is certainly a known quantity, and we can even see that here in some of the teams. We are seeing a mirror match all the way down the line here. I had to make sure that it was in fact all lined up, but it is these teams running mirrors. It's always very interesting and very uncommon to see that in a show 6 format. So it's definitely harder to say maybe where the advantages lie, but maybe in terms of how these players would approach this mirror in terms of the lineups that they want to bring into it. Spleen, if you can give us some insight on how maybe you would approach a mirror like this.
Frankly, for me, first question I will ask myself is the fast move of the Alolan Ninetales. I mean, because depending if one opponent or the other is running Charm or Powder Snow, that it's going to change some matchups. I mean, Charm Ninetales is will destroy, for example, the Gallade and the Medi, but will struggle against the Venusaur, and on the opposite, the Powder Snow Ninetales will be able to KO the Venusaur. So that's going to be for me the let's say the first question those two battlers need to answer, and then interestingly they are carrying what I call let's say a double pseudo fighter line. So it's going to be interesting. I really like the Gallade here, and I'm trying to look if the players are going to use it. I think that the Gallade has overall real nice matchup against the Venusaur. You have the Confusion that is doing super effective. You have the Leaf Blade for the Swampert. You have the close combat for the Stunfisk. Even the close combat on the A9 does some nice neutral damage, and you have the confusions as well, and resisting the counter against the Medicham. So my opinion, I think Gallade could have some play here in those mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's worth noting as well that one Ninetales fast move does beat the other Ninetales fast move by a pretty substantial margin. So maybe if you are a player utilizing the Powder Snow on that Ninetales, a little more worried, a little more concerned about a potential Charm Ninetales coming in. EJ, what about you in terms of approaching a mirror like this? I'm always, anytime a format that allows Galarian Stunfisk to really thrive, we do see that Pokemon generally take over. It is a menace. But in terms of approaching a mirror like this, where do you think you would lie in terms of what you would want to bring in? Oh, I believe we've got you muted there, EJ. This one's not me this time, I promise.
And someone in the chat is also is as well talking about the Medicham moveset. Indeed, if basically if one of the Medichem isn't carrying Psychic, that could be to the advantage of the other one.
Yeah, that is a very, very good point. It's easy to forget how flexible the Metacham moveset can be and how impactful landing a power punch bait can really be, flipping either of these matchups. EJ, do we have you back there? It still looks like we're down and out for EJ. In terms of other matchup data before we just say la vie and hop into the next game. Spleen, can you remember the last time in a Silph match you ran into a mirror 6?
I think I never, it never happened. I
Yeah,
think that I had 5 same months once, but most of the time you have maximum 4 months that are the same in
yeah.
the self match. So I don't know for you, Pain, but I have never seen a
I've
6.
yeah,
Yes,
I've never seen it before in my time. That being said, I was quite a big fan of running the Porygon 2 in the Venture Cup. So I think that if I saw a 6v6 mirror team, the opponent and I would have to take each other out to a nice coffee and discuss where we went wrong in our lives to be registering Porygon 2. EJ, do we maybe have you back? Unfortunate technical difficulties left, right, and center. I'm so sorry, everybody. We will go ahead and hop right into the games. Let me see if I can identify what maybe is going wrong. EJ, I am unable to hear you on my end as well. That's quite all right. Well, while EJ does some technical identification, see if maybe we can figure out what's going on his end. We'll hop right into the Nightfall games here. Ricky 1990, Azure. We'll see how these players approach this mirror match, and we'll see which one of them can come out with the advantage here. We are going to see players lead Venusaur into Gallade. EJ, do we have you back now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there we go. You sound beautiful. Perfect.
All right, perfect.
So we did see the Venusaur swap right out, happy to come into this Gallade mirror. Would that, in terms of identifying maybe what's in the back, would an opponent that willing to swap into a Gallade mirror with an energy disadvantage, would that maybe help you as a higher caliber player as well identify what may be in the back?
Yeah, you kind of make some reads all over the game, right? So if you see the Gallade swapping, you kind of assume that there has to be a harder answer in the back. And it's really hard to have a harder answer to Gallade in this meta. It only can basically be G-Fisk or the Charm A9. And this
Oh, we do see double shields coming out here.
Double shield. Only a miscount.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that there's a lot of ways that that Gallade could have gone up to the double close combat there, but
This is really scary now because Venusaur can hit the. Oh, we see a no shield here.
ooh, it's a big chunk of damage there.
Wow.
I do think that the Venusaur potentially trying to farm up to 2 Frenzy Plants. Oh, going for
There should be a CMP tie.
yeah, I
This
do believe
doesn't.
so.
Don't think this KOs. It's an interesting play to throw on the CMP here.
Absolutely, and no, not shielding the Venusaur either. Happy to let it go down here and kind of rely all the marbles on the Ninetales in the back. And we do see a Charm Ninetales on Azure's side. So certainly that's where you want to be if you're Ricky 1990 here. Absolutely.
But as always, up a shield. The Weather Ball still hurts a ton, and we all know Charm is a really busted move, and still resist the Charm do a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Up a shield on a Charmer is definitely a place that you want to be, and yeah, that Weather Ball doing a chunk of damage here. Yeah. I do not think that this Venusaur is going to be able to get to another fast move, or another charge move. No way. And this Ninetales has got an uphill battle to climb, that's for sure. But the Stunfisk basically running on empty. We'll see here if potentially there's room for a catch. No, not even a
Oh,
little bit here.
yes.
And the power of fast move charm coming in clutch.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
certainly a certainly an impressive move. Definitely the whole arsenal of the fairy typing in Pokemon Go basically
yes.
boiled down into one fast move there, and the power of maintaining shields for your Charmer. It's a as someone who I'm sure has indulged in a little charm play themselves, you can recognize the importance of maintaining shield advantage for those Charmers, and Azure able to get up a pretty fast lead in this Nightfall matchup. It'll be interesting to see how the players adjust now that that information is public. Azure's Ninetales fast move is known now to Ricky, whereas Ricky still has maybe that side of what my Ninetales is running. Is this now an opportunity where I can
Yes,
bring it in?
absolutely. Yeah. Also, the Venusaur is way stronger now.
Yeah,
The Venusaur has a lot of play, and since the Ninetales is charm, it's even stronger. So basically, only have to worry about the Gallade.
yeah, that's very true. So very likely that we will see those Venusaur come in for the remainder of the game. At least
Yes, yes.
that's what I'd expect. But we can go ahead and hop right into the next game here, and we'll see how these players are able to adjust and how they adjust their leads. And we see the Gallade into the Charmtails there.
That's why I not want to see the A9.
No, definitely
So,
not.
and we see a slight overtap.
Yeah, maybe allowing an extra charm there through that they might not have initially intended. Um,
Yes, yeah, 100%.
and Gallade going to go ahead and invest the shield into these frenzy plants. Gallade not necessarily known for its immense bulk, that's for sure.
We see a complete confusion down. So now we have to make a call. Probably coming late here because you don't want it on the A9 anyways.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine, wanting to save that Stunfisk for that A9. Um, and then we will see here as far as the shields, what Ricky looks like is willing to let this Leaf Blade go. Still does
Ton
a
of damage. We see an overtap here again.
definitely an unfortunate place to be. And now Stunfisk is
Yes.
going to come in and meet this close combat head on. Not a great place to be for the
Oh,
Stunfisk.
no
Ooh,
shield on the close combat. That's painful.
that is painful. Not quite a three ball flex, thankfully, but certainly a rough spot to be. Alignment
Yes.
just not really
Yeah,
working out in
definitely.
Ricky's favor at all there.
Yeah. And here we see, of course, Azaway not showing his third Pokemon, which makes sense because you don't want to reveal the backline if you don't have to.
Yeah, no, of course the importance of saving that is definitely a place where you want to be. It helps out definitely for sure in terms of maintaining some kind of game plan secrecy so that you can maybe run the same line and it's not as
Exactly.
quite as predictable going into the game three. But Ricky here going to need to make some pretty major adjustments, especially coming off of that game
Yeah.
two. Pokemon Go is a pretty momentum-based game, especially in these best of threes, and it can be fairly disheartening to go down in 0-2, especially after a game like that. But these players are some of the best in the world for a reason, and if anybody can make the adjustment, and if anybody can, cobble back some semblance of victory here, it's certainly a player like Ricky. So
Yeah,
we'll hop
100%.
right into game three here, and we'll see how leads A9. So again, a pretty good spot.
Now we see, if we look on Azaway's backline, he doesn't have a great response to the G-Fisk, so he kind of has maybe dip or even stay.
There's a good chance the game plan might be to just try to make as meaningful of a dent into this Stunfisk as possible. Maybe comfortable and just a-okay running the A9 mirror into each other. It was a very fast swap, so A9 did not get a charge before it swapped. So if they can get alignment in the A9 mirror, it'll just be a blank, no energy mirror.
We see the backline is getting a charm through. No shield on the Leaf Blade.
A machine in terms of
Yes.
dishing out the for sure. Into the, yeah, just going to toss this frenzy plant here. If he does decide to invest the shield here, probably a call. To as much HP onto that that A9 as possible.
Also, if you look on Azura's back Pokemon, it's the Charm 8. Shields against Charm.
Charm, a gentleman's game. The highest level of Pokemon. But able to just charm fast move down. It is the fast move of all fast moves for a reason,
Yes,
and
yes.
Azure able to get a very commanding 3-0 to put Team Grookey into an even bigger lead, snowballing this series for sure. But I do think that it is worth noting that it is very likely that the best from EU Emperors is certainly to come in those open leagues, Open Great League, Open Ultra, and Open Master. So an early lead here for sure for Team Grookey, but if there's any team on the planet that can cobble together something and maybe snowball this back in their favor, it is certainly going to be the EU Emperors. But we've got one more game of Nightfall that we've got to get through before we get to any of that. So we are going to go into the last game here between Chidori XD and Alisa Noble. I hope I didn't mispronounce that as well. I'm so awful with these names. But in terms of these two teams, yes.
Payne, apparently the chat cannot hear us. It couldn't hear for the last game that you comment.
The last game that I commented, they couldn't hear. Oh no.
Yeah.
So they were just stuck hearing me. I'll make sure I send them my condolences.
They couldn't hear neither of you.
They couldn't hear either of us. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm almost positive that I had everything locked up on my end here, but I think we should be able to hear everybody now. I do believe so.
I think so too.
I think so. I see the bars moving around. So I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not quite sure what happened on that last one. I did learn my lesson and checked to make sure that we were all moving.
Apparently, the game sound was on.
The game sound was on. That's even more embarrassing. I'm so sorry about that, everybody. Everybody knows how obnoxious that those game sounds can be. Certainly potentially important for the players who use them as audio cues for counts, but definitely not as important for us. That's for sure. We can kind of see the energy going up and down as it goes. So I apologize to everybody for that one. I had believed that I had pulled the audio from all of those games, but we can see my sloppiness here on full display for everybody. So my apologies, very embarrassing. But moving along, we do have the last Nightfall matchup. We do have a very commanding lead for Team Grookey, starting to develop in these field specialist metas. And as far as two teams go, we see a lot of what we saw last time in terms of 6v6 mirror. So the odds of it happening once are small. The odds of it happening twice even smaller. But I guess if there is a meta that it's going to happen, it is a meta like this. Definitely a very known quantity, a very, I would even say, solved format in terms of what's good and what's bad. But we do see another mirror. I'm quadruple 5 times checking to make sure I'm not embarrassing myself anymore. But it is another 6v6 mirror. Spleenlejeune, how do you feel? How do you feel going into another mirror?
Well, I think it's, I don't know for you, EJ, but I think it's the same comments on my side. The moveset of the A9, moveset of the Medichem, and alignment is going to be, I guess, key. We saw that in the previous match. If you hard counter your opponent in the lead, it's probably going to be really difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, 100%. But what's also interesting here is if you look on the CP of Galate, this might be a little bit higher attack. Can make a difference if you play the mirror match. So I'm curious to see if this can make a difference. Because if you win CMP in the mirror Galate, this can flip the match in your favor if you can turn this over.
Definitely, and it's worth noting if the players having access to this information before their match as well identify that and maybe look for opportunities that they can carry these mirrors and look for CMP leads if they're confident that they do have that higher attack advantage. And a very good point. There's no better way to flip a potential mirror than winning CMP. Definitely one of the easiest ways to get
And
it done.
there are as well some strategies to come into play, because if you know as well that you are going to lose the mirror, you can try to go for the confusion sneak as well. So that's some, let's say, uh, it looks like it's going to be let's say a pure mirror match, but some mechanics of the game could as well flip the match depending. And we are talking about really high skill battlers, so
Yes.
that could definitely happen.
Yeah, definitely. 100% certainly something that could flip the matchup either way. But we'll hop right on into the next Nightfall matchup. Sorry, between Chidori XD and Elisa Noble.
Let's get it
Hey,
started.
yeah, and we have a Swampert into a Gallade, so very good for Shidori, the lead.
But not the worst for Swampert. You are paid to the moves, and you can draw shields early. No shield on the first one.
No shield is going to tank the Hydro, putting him into the red. And now going for the Leaf Blade here. Shield is coming on Elisa side.
See shield. Oh, much
Ooh,
shot down.
much shot down. It's huge. As the Venusaur in the back, going straight for the sludge, and
No.
no shield on Shidori's side.
Has a ton of damage. And we see the Gallade swapping.
Yeah,
This
trying
is
to snipe the Venusaur, and now going for the Leaf Blade. Shidori is going to shield.
going straight for the EQ. And we see a no shield. That's wow.
Yeah, that's going to be to be that could be huge.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Probably
So
coming back with the Swampert here.
the imagine. So yeah.
Ooh. But the G-Fisk is reaching this rock slide just before the Swampert got is going to have the Hydro, and this rock slide is going to be enough to KO. And here comes the mirror match between the G-Fisk. And here it's going to be a bait game.
Yes.
Shidori can go straight to the Earthquake because he still has the Venusaur in the back. And on Elisa's side, she will need to bait. Ooh.
This fancy plant is huge. I mean, opposing G-Fisk still has to Earthquake. Now you have to throw the Rock Slide and
Yeah,
no
and
bubble.
it's a CMP tie, and he's going to try to farm down to try to have enough energy for a rock slide bait and EQ. I don't think it's going to be a feasible here,
Oh, I think
but that's
Shidori.
going to be very close. Yeah, Shidori has the EQ, and that's going to be enough to seal this first game.
Was a close one. If you get the undercharge on the Venusaur and get some farm, you could maybe flip this in the back if you get the
Yeah,
bait.
that was, let's say, I think that was the play from Elisa's
Yeah.
side to try to match shut down the Venusaur. Unfortunately, the Shidori left the match with still a bunch of energy and was
Yes.
able to reach the EQ. Game two,
Some
we have a
mirror.
mirror. We discussed that earlier. It's going to be mirrors into mirrors. So it's going to be interesting here if they are going to bait. Those players, they know their IVs. They don't know the IVs of the opponent. Ooh,
Chidori going for the extra and getting it.
yeah, going
No
for the
shield.
extra vine whip. and no shielding the sludge. He
Getting the
knows now. Yeah, sorry, EJ.
getting the fast move denial off is really huge here because you get the extra move in, and now you're outpaid to the next one and can force the shield before they.
Yeah, exactly. Going comfortably for the double sludge, and Eliza letting him go and swapping into the Galate and answering with the Charm A9. And this is going to be rough here. Reaching just before fading the close combat.
Yes. Seen, wow, that's an interesting no shield.
Ooh.
This is tough because if you see the back Pokemon is Galate and you have
Yeah,
the A9 here, it's
yeah,
also Charm. Oh, this
yeah,
is
this is real tough, and Eliza is going to die with her two shields,
uh,
unfortunately here.
this is what happens if you have like a lot of fast move pressure with the Galate and the Charm Ninetales. You die with shields if you don't use them early, and that might change some things in the third game because you want to
Yeah,
spend the shields early to not end in a situation to die with two shields again.
yeah, and the EU Emperors are down by 7 points at this stage, and they definitely need a
Yes.
win right now.
That's gonna adjust this. Catching a really good lead
Ooh,
here.
yeah, very good lead. This time with the A9 into the Galate.
Wow, yeah, this is.
Yeah, this is going to be a RPS game here, and
But we all know G-Fisk is a really tanky Pokemon, and I'm pretty sure it can make it to 2 Earthquakes. Felisa tries to farm all the way down.
yeah, and that's true that without fighting type charge move, this matchup is a bit closer than it should be between the Meri and the G-Fisk. The G-Fisk might be able to reach a second Earthquake, but Eliza is going to throw a
Yes,
nice punch right before.
enough, yeah.
Let's
See,
see, playing the clock and now trying
yeah,
to come with the Galley to farm a bunch of energy.
getting
Ooh,
the last punch. Yeah, the no shield makes sense because you locked on the Charm A9 anyways, and even if you swap out, you will be aligned later on.
yeah, probably going to go for the close combat again.
Yeah, I think so. Let's hope that Elisa is shielding it this time.
Ooh,
Oh, going
and
for
this
the
time
bait
going
here.
for the bait.
See shield, instant swap.
Yeah, and now Shidori with the Venusaur mirror with two shields to one. That could be huge.
Yes. No shielding on the first one. Already down a shield, you don't really want to invest second shield.
Yeah, exactly. Going for the sludge on Elisa's side, and Shidori is going to shield. And ooh,
Oh,
and
able
going
to
for
get
the to the extra vine whip here, and tanking this sludge bomb. This is
no
rough.
shield.
This
This
frenzy is
might
going to KO, I think.
barely not.
Ooh,
Oh, see the
this
shield here.
is
This
huge.
might be close if she is able to farm down the Venusaur. Oh, seeing the swapping
Swapping
late.
into the Gallade, and
Oh, not
oh,
able to get to the lead plate.
dying with the move, and let's see if he can farm down.
Down
Yeah,
the
it does.
Venusaur.
And
Wow.
she scored a real good, very vital point here for
Yes.
EU
Yeah.
Emperors, um, grabbing this point, and now Team Grookey is up by 6 points.
6 points.
Yeah, so we definitely see the the importance of making sure that you're managing your energy, managing your shields there. Any game that you go down with both shields up in any format is an impactful one, and it definitely really makes you think and try to recalculate the importance of using those shields. Despite popular belief, you don't get to take them into your next match, so making sure that you utilize those shields, especially on a team where the fast move pressure is so oppressive, is certainly something that is very very important. But as far as the where we're going to next, we're shifting away from the field specialist and we're hopping right into the open leagues. We've got Open Great, Open Ultra, and Open Master, and some of the big juggernauts from that EU Emperor side. Every game is super important, and every game for these players is going to be super, super important. We're going to need to see some very, very clean 3-0s from Tho. We're going to need to see some very, very clean 3-0s from Inadequence, and we're going to see some very clean 3-0s from Savage Boy to pull this back. Like I said, though, if there's any players that can do it, the EU Emperors has got them. Now, shifting into the teams for Open Great League, no more 6v6 mirrors now that we've got a little more diversity, a little more of an open format. In terms of these Open Great League teams, Spleen, where do you think where do you think you would put your coin in terms of advantages go?
This is really really tough to be honest. Those are two very balanced team. I mean, so I'm really in trouble. I think the Gulf on those side might look very good if you can avoid the Galarian Stunfisk. So that could be the key factor of this game. Um, the Sableye as well could be a great safe swap as usual. If you are playing GBL, you're used to the Sableye safe swap. So I would say those 2 months here on those sides. But I'm curious more to see the Drapion as well on Adipcam's side. Don't think it has a ton of play, but depending on the moveset, it can have access to Sludge Bomb, to Crunch, to Aqua Tail, and with the Poison Stink buff, a recent buff, it can be as well a deadly safe swap.
Yeah, definitely a super, super spammy Pokemon in Drapion, and maybe not a Pokemon that a lot of people are familiar seeing in Open Great League for sure. It's definitely flies a little bit under the radar. We see a very, very robust meta, very standard balanced team from Tho, and even the same could be said for Adib there. But Drapion is certainly a unique pick. EJ, we do see the Lickitung and the Altaria on Adib's team. These are two Pokemon that, at least on GBL ladder, can be absolute menaces in terms of the damage that they can reap through a team. What do you think Adib will need to bring to the table in order to get these games off of Tho?
Um, I mean, a Lickitung safe swap is always solid, as we know. It can win the zero shield against the Medicham, which is just crazy because of the type disadvantage. Need, I think, 3 licks advantage to beat Venusaur in the one shield, and 1 lick advantage to beat Galvantula. So the Lickitung safe swap seems really, really solid on Adib's side. But I mean, that's what you expect when you see a Lickitung on the opposing team, and that's why you bring your Medicham. And
Yeah,
even G-Fisk is a really good response to the Lickitung. So I
yeah,
think this will be a lot of alignment game. It will be interesting to see what the moveset on Drapion is,
absolutely.
because
Yeah,
this can flip some matchups, and which is hard for Toe if you safe swap it in game 1, because you don't know what to bring in. Don't want to bring your G-Fisk into a loaded Drapion with Aqua Tail. You don't want to bring a Sumo into a Sludge Bomb. And yeah, this will be interesting to see what the moveset on Drapion is.
Yeah, definitely. A very good highlight on the importance of having these flexible movesets on the Pokemon, especially in these open formats. When you look across the board at a lot of these Pokemon, they're known quantities for the most part. While there are options for some potentially spicier charge moves, when you look at Galvantula, you can expect to see Discharge Lunge. When you look at Galarian Stunfisk, the story is pretty much told, and it's been told 1,000 times. But the importance of having flexibility in a Pokemon like Drapion is certainly important. We see it a lot in Open Great League teams that utilize Ferrothorn as well, in terms of Flash Cannon,
So,
Mirror
so,
Shot, and Thunder.
so you don't think To is going to run a Muddy Water G-Fisk?
As much as I would love to see it, I do like my Muddy Water. I'm a big Seismitoad fan myself, but I would be surprised to see it. If he does happen to bring the Muddy Water Stunfisk and manage to secure a dub here on the Silph stream with Muddy Water Galarian Stunfisk, I don't think it'll be something anybody will forget for a very long time. But I would expect it to be pretty standard. It would be a very interesting spice decision to make, considering the the fullness of meta of the rest of his team. But we can likely talk about these teams all day long, and the unique and diversity of Open Great League. But we can go ahead and hop right into the games here. We do see Tho versus Adib Khan. We'll see
Yeah,
where these players
and
decide to lead.
we didn't talk as well on the pressure on To's side, To's team to get back on the score, and very good lead here with the Galv into the Jellicent.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do see that safe swap that EJ was mentioning there. The importance of having that Lickitung in the back, a really good, a really nice safe place to be, a nice Pokemon to toss into just about anything, and
Yeah,
we see the
and
adaptability
and
there.
and To lunging the Leaky Tank, and now we can safely no shield this Battle Whip, because even if it's a super effective damage, with the debuff, it can just tank it, charging a bit more of energy.
Yeah, and it's worth noting we do see the Play Rough and Hydro Pump there on the Azumarill. Azumarill, another one of those Pokemon that can have a very unique move set that it can bring to the table, and we do see the I guess I would say the
Yeah,
double nuke there in Play Rough and Hydro Pump.
yeah, and here too, going up to 100 energy, and I think trying to be as low as possible to avoid the possible farm down on the SU. And here comes the Jelly, and because he charged up so many energy before, he can reach this play rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is the Drapion in the back there for Adib. So we will have that question answered in terms of what this moveset is going to be on that Pokemon. And Jellicent going to toss the Shadow Ball, yeah, right into a shield from Tho. A
Yeah,
very, very good shield there.
shielding the Shadow Ball could have been a bubble beam bait, and you're throwing the lunge.
Yeah, a very good call actually, throwing the lunge there as well. Both moves are going to be enough to KO the Jellicent there. So tossing the lunge there to get to the debuff, just in case they decide they do want to shield. I think that it was likely that if they were going to invest the shield, they were going to swap no matter what. But still, regardless, a very good decision by Tho. And we do see that Drapion is running that Sludge Bomb and Crunch.
Yeah, so double nuke, double huge nuke on the Drapion side, and we saw the gal from To doing huge work, especially with the launches. Really easy the work of those two teammates, Azumarill and G-Fisk in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. A tale as old as time, right? Name a more iconic duo. It is worth noting, though, that if Adib doesn't necessarily have to show the Sludge Bomb here, if he just continues to toss out these crunches, the question of that Aqua Tail could still be there, and that potential pressure could still be there. Crunch is definitely the way to go against both of these Pokemon remaining, so that's that option not necessarily off of the table in terms of how Tho needs to plan to adapt his team going into the next game.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good comment here. And I think it's the same. It didn't show as well the bubble beam. So nice job on Adib as well, trying to hide some information. We always say in the academy that the first game is to gather intelligence, and here, despite the loss, he was able to hide some additional information to tell.
Absolutely, yeah. And Tho securing the very important wins. We did mention going into this game, the pressure is really on for these players in terms of making sure that they can secure those wins for their team. And that was a pretty good way to start off Open Great League, if I do say so myself. We'll see how the adjustments are made. You made a great point that Jellison's moveset is still hidden for the most part. The Drapion's moveset is still hidden for the most part. So still a lot of unanswered questions. We'll see if Adib wants to bring in that Altaria. We'll see if Tho wants to keep the Galvantula in. Still tons of doors to leave unopened and to potentially open up. But hopping into the next game here, we'll see how these players adjust their leads. Let me get the
Yeah,
Galvantula
and
into Venusaur.
yeah, again a good lead for Toe with the Venusaur into the Jelly and swapping in directly again into the Leaky Tongue.
Yeah, absolutely. Adib, most certainly, as expected, going to rely on that Lickitung as that safe swap. There are very few safe swaps that are as reliable as Lickitung at just eating up this pressure, eating up these charge moves, and coming out with advantages. Just happy to toss these body slams into it. And it looks like
Yeah,
Tho is happy to commit
and
to this matchup.
exactly, and good job on Toe side to CMP tying the first body slam and here to catch the body slam on the
Absolutely.
Medicham. That's
Yeah,
huge.
Lickitung is not a super easy Pokemon to count. I would in terms of the difficulty of counting anything, but Tho definitely displaying his mastery of a Pokemon Go PvP. Happy to catch that Body Slam onto Medicham, no questions asked, and gonna
Yeah,
lob the
exactly.
Psychic here.
He's going to land the psychic, no shield on Adib, and he does some nice new edge here. And yes, Adib charging some energy.
Definitely
And,
important to make sure that you maintain as much energy as possible on that Jellicent. But
ooh,
these Psychics are
that
gonna they're gonna add up. They're gonna hurt.
yeah, that's really risky to throw here at the CMP for Adib, but he knows these IVs. He knows he will survive the psychic, and really again to leave minimum farm to the Venusaur. But he's really in the trouble here, not carrying the Aquatail against the G-Fisk is going to be rough to overcome this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the crunch coming through here is definitely going to answer that question on what that Drapion's moveset is. No Aqua Tail means it's pretty safe to assume that there's going to be that Sludge Bomb there. So it is certainly going to be an uphill climb for Deep, especially into this matchup. And we see the power of Galarian Stunfisk. We saw it in Nightfall and its dominance in that meta. It exists the same here in Open Great League.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe let's say a crunch debuff could change this matchup, but it's really hard. The G-Fisk is resisting the fast move from the Drapion, and you cannot really hit for a super effective into the G-Fisk. So that's really hard on that deep side at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tho even just investing the last shields here to really put the writing on the wall, just tossing these rock slides into this Drapion. It is going to be a pretty uphill battle. Ooh,
Ooh. And trying to catch another rock slide into the Jellison, but Toe was really quick to switch and to land here, trying to farm the Venusaur here, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's
unfortunately,
just not enough. Some very good on the fly catches there from Tho, that insta swap into the Venusaur there to put the writing on the wall. And another very important game for EU Emperors, another very important game for Tho, and another very important win,
uh,
managing to pull this score in.
yeah, I don't know if Toes is still in the chat, but I think that he was expecting Adib to swap at some point because that was Adib only win con. So I think he was like pretty aware and looking at the switch clock as well, expecting that move
Yeah,
from his opponent.
That's a very, very good. That's a very good point. If the players at this caliber are always aware of their opponent's timers as well as their own timers, they know when those switch options are available, and they know not to leave themselves, caught with their pants down, so to speak, and managing
Mhm.
to find the lose con. So some very, very smart, some very technical play from Tho, just what you'd expect from a player of that caliber. And we'll hop into the game three. Tho needs the 3-0. We'll see if Tho can get the 3-0.
Definitely. And this time leading G-Fisk into a Medicham. So finally a good lead for Adib.
Absolutely. And we do see two insta swaps here to get to the Drapion and Azumarill matchup. We wanted to see the Drapion, and we're going to see the Drapion all three games. Here, definitely now utilizing its move set to its its maximum potential. Having that poison charge moves into the Azumarill, that hurts.
Yeah, exactly. The sludge bomb doing ton of damage. Will the Drapion shield the Hydro here? No shield from Adib, and that does ton of damage here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And now Tho in a spot where he can invest the shield and maintain switch advantage here if he really wanted to. It looks like he's just going to be happy to let the Azumarill go. The Azumarill has certainly done its job, landing that absolute hammer of a Hydro Pump into that Drapion, and super happy to farm down with Stunfisk.
yeah, exactly. Because now even if he comes back with the Medicham, with an energy lead, Stunfisk can double EQ the Medicham, and they will be able at least to force a shield on Adib's side.
Yeah, and Adib potentially calling a bait there of that rock slide, catching that EQ right on the dome of that Medicham. Certainly not the fast move you want to be catching. Just tossing these ice punches in, and we do see Tho switch into the Medicham mirror. Happy to build up an energy advantage here on this Medicham going into what Adib has in the back. And if there's a Pokemon you want to have any kind of energy advantage over, it is certainly going to be an Altaria.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's going to be able to throw this ice punch. Does a very nice shield of the psychic. I think that To recognized that Adib staying in was to throw the psychic. And now I think it's a CMP tie here on the sky attack and on the ice punch.
Yeah, and of course, still happy to invest the shield there on that
Oh,
sky attack.
it's not a CMP tie, but it's going to outpace to outpace the Altaria with a double ice punch. So it's going to be a very very close game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. So yeah, we investing that last shield. This is kind of the place you have to do it if you're a deep. You need to get this sky attack through. Um,
Yeah, and CMP could be huge for To. Obviously, he needs to bank a lot of energy on the G-Fisk. He's going to go for the double rock slide here. So
uh,
the first rock slide to KO the Altaria and banking on the fact that the rock slide will be enough to KO the Medicham in the back.
Ooh,
Oh,
actually getting right up to that EQ. Wow, what
the
quite a
EQ.
risky play there. Really paying dividends. I'm not super certain of the numbers, but in terms of entertainment value, I definitely don't think that rock slide would have killed. So getting up to that EQ, and we mentioned going into this Great League matchup, the importance of Tho securing that 3-0, and Tho performed definitely.
That was huge. To controlling the first two games by having the lead and really doing a great job in this last game. Great energy management on the Stunfisk, knowing that he will have to use the Stunfisk to beat the Medicham at last, and managing very well his energy for that.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Very, very technical play, so to speak. But identifying the win con, identifying what he needs to do to secure that game, knowing that the lion's share of the end game work is going to need to be done on that Stunfisk. It's going to need to be done on a Stunfisk into a matchup that's unfavorable, but maintaining that extra farm up on that Altaria, very, very important. And it paid out dividends, able to get the 3-0 that he needed. And now we can shift over to our Ultra League match, where again we are going to look to EU Emperors, and we're going to look to Inadequance to bring home another 3-0. Now, as far as Open Ultra League goes, there is a little more, I don't want to say diversity in teams, but definitely in terms of how XL you want to get your Pokemon for sure, and how much of that human walking that you're doing. We do see a stacked XL team on the side of Inadequance, depending on how XL that Politoed is, and sort of the same can be said over on Jetson's team. But in terms of the Ultra League and in terms of how these teams line up, Spleen, where are you happy to identify on Inadequance's team what the route to victory is and what the route to get that necessary 3-0 is?
I mean, I really like the Mandibas on Inadequance team. He has very good matchup. I think that if the Politoed is carrying Blizzard, that could be a surprise factor for the Mandibas. The Ferrothorn with Thunder, but except that, or you still have the Crest as well with Moonblast. But except that, the Mandibas looks like a very good safe swap on Inadequance team. Curious to see how Jetson is going to play, because I think that Inadequance somewhat has some answers to all the threats on the Jetson team. Maybe the Politoed, but it's going to depend on the moveset the Politoed is carrying. Uh, if it's a Blizzard Politoed, obviously the Jelly is going to be a very good answer. But I will favor Inadequance going to this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm comfortable to say the same. This lineup definitely looks very, very strong. I'm a huge fan of Typhlosion. It is worth noting, though, in the Open Ultra League, in the Silph factions meta, these players are only allowed to bring one Mythic Legendary and only allowed to bring one starter
Mhm.
type Pokemon. We can see Inadequance going for the Typhlosion for the starter, and Malmetal, everybody's favorite Pokemon to hate there for the legendary mythic there. But over on Team Grookey's side, Jetson, EJ, he's opted for the Cresselia and opted not to include a starter at all, which is not uncommon to see in these Open Ultra League games. But what do you think that Jetson's going to have to bring to the table in order to cobble together a win against a player like Inadequance?
Yeah, Jetson has a really hard time here getting the Mandibus under control, because I think Mandibus can win everything on win
Mhm.
against everything on Jetson's team, especially if it's I think it's level 51 on Inadequance side, so it's best bodied as well, so it probably wins the mirror match as well. Um, Also, I like we all know that Jelly A9 core
Yeah, it's very true.
only gets broken by the Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn doesn't want to see Typhlosion. So this is a really, really well balanced team, and I so the Melmetal has play against everything on Jetson's team,
Yeah,
and we might see
Yeah,
some movesets
and
metal.
that could, yeah, exactly. Movesets, as AJ is going to is was just talking, could be huge as well. Charm or Powder Snow A9, Typhlosion could be an Incinerate, which is going likely to be the case. But we know Inadequance like Spice he could run a Shadow Claw, Typhlosion as well. So on the Politoed, if you have a Blizzard, you can nuke a Flyer, but you are weak in the mirror. If you are running Earthquake, it tends to favor you in the mirror. So that's going to be always the first game answer
Look,
some of those questions.
if I look on the Politoads, I think it makes more sense on Inadequance side to run EQ, but on Jetson's side, it
Mhm.
would make more sense to run Blizzard. If you
Yeah,
have Elite TM the Politoad, you're not gonna TM it back. So
that's very true.
yeah, definitely.
That is very true.
Yeah,
I am a fan of Blizzard on Polytoad. It is certainly where I like to go, and it definitely does seem like it is going to potentially be the move of choice for Jetson if that is an option. It is certainly a tall order to expect players to have multiple move sets for multiple Ultra League Polytoads ready to go, but
Yes.
it all depends on the commitment to that Pokemon for sure. The players that like Polytoad, they love their Polytoad, so we will see. How these move sets really pan out. As Spleen mentioned, the importance of a Alolan Ninetales and maybe potentially hiding that fast move from game one to apply some extra pressure to the bench could be an option Inadequance could look at, but we are going to need another 3-0 from Inadequance here, and if there is going to be a player on this team that can do it, this has got to be the guy to do it. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and hop right into our open Ultra League game. This is another game where we only have access to just Inadequance's POV. So we're going to be single screening it, and we're going to see if Inadequance can pull this game through. So we will see how these players decide to line it up. We see the Jellicent and the Shadow Nidoqueen.
A fantastically fine Inadequance.
Yeah, absolutely. Swapping out of there right away into the Polytoad. Now, EJ, does a Polytoad into this Jellicent matchup, does that maybe, as a player in that spot, would that give you any, any illusion into potentially the Polytoad's moveset or even what Jetson might have in the back?
Yeah. In the back is kind of hard to tell, but I think it kind of shows you that it's running Earthquake. You would not bring a Blizzard Polytoad into a Jellicent, at least if you don't have to. And that's what we see here. We see Weather Wall spam, so it might be an Earthquake Earthquake Polytoad.
Absolutely, and that Polytoad Rock and Earthquake just means that this Mandibuzz is going to be an even bigger nail in the side of Jetson's team there for sure, and we can see the absolute bulk machine that is Ultra League Mandibuzz.
Yes.
Happy to throw these
interesting
foul
that
plays.
he's carrying foul play, not Dark Pulse.
Yeah,
Extra little damage.
absolutely, definitely something
He's
that.
running. Yeah, but he's running Air Slash as well, so it kind of makes sense to run the cheaper charge move.
Yeah, absolutely. Air Slash, Mandibuzz, I should say, another Pokemon, access to multiple fast moves that can apply pressure in very different ways. I do think taking a look at the lineup that Jetson's got, that Air Slash is probably the safe way to go.
Yeah. I think so too. Let's see if the Politoed is wanna fight for Switch here. Because you definitely don't want to have the Nidoqueen on the Jellicent. We see the
very
shield
good
here
call.
coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if Inadequance wants to fight over the switch advantage. So both players probably correctly identifying the importance of maintaining alignment. We will see. It's going to need to be both shields if Jetson wants to lock it in, though.
Yeah, but there's no way you can much shut down a Mandibuzz, so it will be really close if you don't get farmed down here.
No, it's a very good question, or a very
It'll
good call,
be really,
rather.
really close.
And I think that Inadequate's happy to let it go. Maybe correctly identifying that if it was going to be down to that fast move pressure, that he potentially would go down to those mud shots anyways. So just happy to save that shield for a rainy day.
Yeah, it makes sense taking the shield advantage, but maybe he's expecting something in the back like the Cresselia, so he's not really caring about switch. Let's see what Jetson is deciding to bring in here. See the opposing Mandibuzz.
Happy to just toss Ice Beams into this thing, that's for sure. We'll see if he opts to swap into that Melmetal there. Likely not, no, because he needs to keep that Jellicent off of the Shadow Nidoqueen. So
maybe trying to catch a move, but I think you just try to get those 3 Ice Beams off and take out the.
Yeah, very true.
Take out the Mandibuzz, and maybe if you get needed or like
Yeah, absolutely. These Ice Beams dealing damage though, and definitely saving that shield. Turning out to be, at least from what we can see here, the right call, as this last Ice Beam is going to be enough to put the lock into this Mandibuzz.
Yeah, there's basically nothing this Nidoqueen can do, because I'm pretty sure maybe the Earth Power still hurts, but it's outpaid to the Ice Beam, and once he takes the damage from the Ice Beam,
that's going to be enough.
Need a Charmer in the back to win this with Nidoqueen.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Shadow Nidoqueen getting absolutely doinked by that Ice Beam for sure. And we could even see a potential. Oh, we'll see. Oh no, gonna have to showcase the Melmetal
Yeah,
there to see what's in the back.
yeah.
But there was definitely an opportunity, and that's quite the charge move combination on that Melmetal there.
It's interesting running Thunderbolt.
Yeah, definitely not the standard you'd expect to see. Not needing to show either. So definitely something worth noting going into the last two games. Inadequance, we mentioned earlier, and we'll probably mention it a few more times, the importance of winning every single one of these games, and having access to a surprise charge move in a matchup is definitely something that can help you sneak those extra points. But as
Yeah,
far as
100%.
adjustments that need to be made by Jetson, how do you think that he can adapt his lineup of three to potentially get some of these games back?
Yeah, that's what we were talking earlier. It's kind of hard to keep the the Mandibus under control. And now you know it's Air Slash Mandibus. So your opposing Mandibus also don't have the best play against it. This will be an uphill battle, I expect.
Yeah,
They swap Mandibus again from Inadequance, and
yeah, I
it will
think
be hard
it's
to flip this in
yeah,
the favor.
I think it's very likely that we'll see that safe swap Mandibuzz every single time along the way. But we'll hop right into the second game here. We'll see how it goes. Um, we do see we see the Mandibuzz in the leads this time around.
Okay, it's still picking up a really favorable lead against the Ferrothorn. Depends on what the charge move on Ferrothorn is.
That's very true.
Shadow Claw Typhlosion.
Shadow Claw Frozen, maybe potentially trying to. I didn't happen to keep count, but potentially trying to catch a Power Whip there. And we do see the
Yeah,
Thunder is coming out.
Wonder. Oh, this is not looking as favorable. Maybe you don't
Ooh,
really want to shield this, but you have a lot of energy.
that's very
See the
true.
shield coming up.
And we do
I think
see a
the goal
Solar
from
Beam.
Inadequate. Oh,
We do see a Solar Beam. If this Solar Beam gets through without getting a shield, it is going to be absolutely devastating for Jetson. Oh no.
oh, Magic
Oh
Lens.
no.
Oh,
Oh no. That can't feel good. I mean, everybody's been hit by a surprise charge move before, but I can't imagine
yeah,
a worse feeling than getting smacked by a Solar Beam on a Typhlosion in a faction matchup where you cannot afford to let yourself get 3-0'd.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
devastating.
Now we see probably a CMP tie here on the. Oh my God, for the no
Oh
shield.
no.
Putting all in on the double shielded.
Yeah, I
Double
mean,
shielded.
maybe identifying after losing so much tempo to that Solar Beam on that Politoed that the only way out is to put all of the eggs in one basket. That basket being the Jellicent, but the Mandibuzz and the Melmetal in the back for Inadequance. I don't really see it happening, EJ. I don't know
No,
if there's maybe a path that I can't identify, but even a player like myself knows when the writing's on the wall.
there's nothing to do unless Inadequance lags out for literally 1 minute. There's nothing to
Definitely.
do.
Yeah, maybe an accidental phone through the window could call it for for Jetson, but it would potentially require even more than that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, landing the solar beam on the Politoad basically flipped this match.
Absolutely, yeah. It,
Yeah,
it
but
was
we see no shield. He knows nothing to do there.
yeah, and good sportsmanship there, knowing when the writing's on the wall, willing to just let everybody move on. But the power. There's a lot of there's two teams to the discussion in terms of spicy move sets. There are a lot of people that are very of the side of you should always just play meta. The risk reward is never there, but the risk reward in that case was certainly there. I mean, there are not a lot of worlds where you imagine a Typhlosion into a Politoed, and then that matchup being game winning for the Typhlosion,
Yes,
other
yes.
than an unshielded Solar Beam. So that can't feel good for Jetson. And I mentioned before, and I'm a huge fan of talking about it, Pokemon Go PvP is a momentum-based game. It is always about making sure that you are riding that wave, and we see that wave being ridden super, super hard here. We saw a 3-0 from Tho, and we've one game away from seeing a 3-0 from Inadequence in Open Great League, leaving everything on the line for that Open Master League matchup. But we can go ahead and get right into the last game. I know that I'm super excited to see how it goes, and we'll see how the teams adjust. We got a Jellicent into Ferrothorn here for game 3.
Really good lead for Jetson here. We see the Mandibus safe swap as expected.
Yeah.
See, like a Thunder and Dip, or maybe even storing up all the energy. See the throw here to soften it up.
Definitely, and Adequan's happy to invest an early shield into this Thunder, wanting to make sure that this Mandibuzz is as healthy as possible for whatever the swap happens to be into.
Yes. It makes sense to keep it healthy, so if the opposing Mandibuzz comes in, you can still hang a fight then. Now we see Nidoqueen coming in, and Nidoqueen just spamming those Poison Fangs and buffing the Mandibuzz.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really all that the Nidoqueen can really do here in this matchup is just try to make itself as impactful as possible into this Mandibuzz. Jetson may be identifying that there's really not another route for this this Nidoqueen to find into this game, and the best option to try to take out this Mandibuzz, which is going to be a huge key to victory for Inadequance, is to just try to land as many Poison Fangs as possible. But one switch and all those debuffs are gone.
Yeah, definitely. I think he just brought in the Nidoqueen as well because he just wants to avoid this matchup now, the Jellicent matchup.
Yeah, that's
Getting
very
off
true.
the debuff is huge.
Yeah, certainly helps out with this matchup quite a bit. Ferrothorn in Ultra League is a bit of a house. Definitely can take a hit or two, but these Shadow Balls are not going to not hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah. Those Shadow Balls are no joke. He also no extra hex going into.
That is a very good deny.
This might KO. We're going for the big Thunder.
Ooh, and is he going to get... Oh, not quite able to get to another Shadow Ball there. That definitely would have been very, very impactful. But Typhlosion coming in into Politoed. I think that if you're Jetson, I think that you shield every single move that's coming at you now.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we see no shield from Inadequance. Probably the only Rincon is going for the Solar Beam and landing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely seems like it'll be a tall task here for sure. Blast Burn, this is going to be shielded, almost positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see a shield here. They've been building up to the Solar Beam, trying to catch.
Now that is a good catch. Well, it still seems like it is going to be quite a quite an uphill battle to pull this one through. But catching the Weather Ball onto a Mandibuzz is certainly a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. And we still see a shield, but I don't expect the shield to come up here. Yeah, saving the shield for a potential move of Typhlosion because it's doing more damage. Politoed is heavily overfarmed now. Yeah, I think this... You just get out spammed by the Politoed with the Typhlosion. This is kind of uphill here.
Yeah, definitely. Politoed, one of the spammiest Pokemon you can play in Pokemon Go PvP. These Weather Balls, even if they're nerfed, they still come at you very fast, and super effective damage is going to hurt. So Inadequate's not able to quite secure the 3-0, but that doesn't mean that it's lights out for EU Emperors just quite yet. We are going to go into the Open Master League, where Savage Boy does still have an opportunity to pull this game through, but definitely a good place to be if you're if you're Team Grookey. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll go ahead and take a look at the the Open Master League here. Certainly a very, very interesting format, a very expensive format. Similar to Open Ultra League, players are only able to bring a single mythic or legendary, and there are no other restrictions. There are no level caps, so all of these Pokemon completely free to charge up to level 50 plus. In terms of these two lineups, we do see the legendary investment on Savage Boy's team being into that Dialga. That Pokemon is a monster. It's a menace. It's good in Master League Classic. It's good in Open Master League. And then on Team Grookey's side, we see Marco opt for a Palkia, definitely more of a maybe an off meta, maybe a spice pick. Spleen, in terms of Savage Boys teams, what do you think is going to be brought to the table to deal with Marcos?
Yeah, I'm playing Masters in faction myself. So first of all, I really like the Excadrill. I think Excadrill is an amazing mon in this format. On both sides, I mean, it has some play. If you just look, for example, Marco's Escadrille, it has some play. It beats the Gyarados, especially if it's a Dragon Breath Gyarados. It can beat obviously the Excadrill. Is going to beat the Sylveon, beats the Dialga. Depending on the fast move of the Garchomp, is going to beat the Garchomp as well, and it can do some really nice damage into the matchup, even if the matchup obviously has a very favorable matchup. So that's going to be my first bet. I will definitely bring Excadrill if I was Marco, especially because Dialga looks like a huge threat. It can beat the Palkia, can beat the Dragonite. So I'm expecting maybe a double steal strategy on Marco's side, a bit to try to control the Dialga, and on a Savage Boy, I think that let's say it's going to depend on the moveset of the Garchomp, but the Garchomp could be well paired if it's a matchup one with the Dialga.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I can't help but notice on Marco's side, myself also playing Master League in my faction, it definitely seems to be a format. Fairly dominated by Togekiss. Maybe not dominated, but you do see Togekiss practically everywhere. The importance of Charm into a format with all of these massive CP Dragon type Pokemon is certainly important, but we see it completely, eschewed on Marco's side. Not a Charmer in sight with the Dragonite, Gyarados, Excadrill, Metagross, Snorlax, and Palkia lineup. EJ, do you think that that is something that maybe a boon for Savage Boy? Marco not having a Charmer into a team utilizing Shadow Machamp and Garchomp specifically.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be like well known by Marco that he didn't want to bring a Charmer because even the Darga matchup is not clear as a Togekiss. You're only hitting for neutral, you have to go down 2 shields, and Steel is also everywhere. So I think he just tried to really well balance his team, bring in some good cores, double Steel, or triple pseudo, double Dragon, one pseudo Dragon. Snorlax has a really good save swap. But I think it's just really well balanced team with some good cores. You try to come back from everything, even if you lose lead. And I don't think a Charmer would fit in this team, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's a great point, and Snorlax definitely is I'm a huge fan of Snorlax in Master League. I love having a big meaty safe swap like that. But in terms of what Savage Boy is going to need to pull off in order to swing this matchup around for EU Emperors, we're going to need to see a straight 3-0, no questions asked.
Yes.
It's definitely a tall order.
exactly. The Machamp as well looks great on Savage Boys team. Could be
Certainly.
used as a safe swap. I'm not familiar with the matchups of the Shadow Machamp, but I know that, for example, a Machamp running Dynamic Punch can beat the Metagross, and it's normally totally unexpected by the opponent. So I don't know if a cross shop Shadow Machamp could do the job, thanks to the extra to the extra shadow bonus. But anyway, it could be a great pair as well with the Dialga.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing to notice for sure, I'm not too keen on the numbers, but I think that's a perfect IV Shadow
Under,
Machamp.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Wow. Very jealous there. If anything, a good flex. Certainly, definitely something to bring to the table, and definitely something to be aware of if you're Marco. But we'll hop right into these games. Savage Boy is going to need to deliver a 3-0 over Marco in order to secure the win for EU Emperors. It's a tall order, but Savage Boy, a legend Silph battler, he is a monster. Open Master League is a very interesting and very dynamic format. We'll see how these players are able to get it done.
yeah, I think I
Guys,
expect the Shadow Machamp coming on. It's
and
just
Savage Boy leading with the Garchomp into the Gyarados. So let's find out the moveset of the Gyarados and the
right.
Garchomp. So yeah, Dragon Breath against Dragon Tail.
This is not the worst matchup for Garchomp. Winning the CMP tie here and forcing a shield or take it out is really huge.
Yeah, Marco is going to shield and he's going to go for the Aqua Tail. And no shield on Savage Boy side.
We see a simultaneous swap into
Ooh.
Excadrill.
And it's and no mud shot going through for Marco here. And if I remember correctly, Marco has the Undo Excadrill, but that's not the case of Savage Boy. So Marco should be able to win CMP here. But Savage Boy has to
I,
shield.
I, ex- I expect to be both 15 attack. You probably wouldn't max 14 attack Excadrill, so CMP tie is probably a coin flip here. But still interesting. Both trying to get the extra mud shots in, and no one's kind of able to.
Exactly, and very good timing on
Yeah.
Savage Boy here, farming as much energy as possible before KOing the opposing Excadrill. And is one mud shot away of a move. And yes, reaching this rock slide should be enough to KO the Gyarados at this range. And now coming with the Snorlax and Savage Boy answering with the Gyarados. So pretty favorable for the Gyarados in this matchup.
We see Earthquake on Snorlax, which is kind of
Yeah,
interesting for later matchups.
exactly. I was about to tell you that. Obviously, I don't think Marco is going to show the earthquake here in this matchup, but in case we see a Dialga in
Yeah,
game two, that could be interesting.
yeah, definitely. But the
So it
writing
looks,
here is on the wall. You still have two Pokemon in the back for Savage Boy, even though he's
yeah,
farming a ton of energy. He needs an Earthquake to KO the Excadrill, and I don't think he's able to get that much energy.
yeah. Savage Boy, I'm pretty sure is going to grab this first game here, bringing back the EU Emperors to 1 point against Team Grookey.
Oh, making it close here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and Dragon Tailing down the Snorlax. So what could we expect, AG, for
We
game two?
saw no legendaries in this first battle, which is interesting. Um, think we see the Excadrill on both sides, maybe this time on the lead. And yeah, I think we will see the Machamp now. The Machamp is
Mhm.
coming on.
Ooh. And we have the Garchomp into the Metagross. So carrying Dragon Tail makes this matchup let's say still a win for the Garchomp, but it's much complicated. This Meteor Mash is going to do some nice damage if it goes unshielded.
And we see the no shield. We see also the Sylveon in the back, so this is interesting. No shielding here. Is he able to get to the second one? Oh, barely able.
Yeah, reaching the next one, and will we see a shield on Marco's side?
No
No
shield.
shield, and barely surviving the sand tomb and sniping the guard jump with the Gyarados.
Here
But
comes the Charmer.
yeah, here comes the Charmer, and because it's a Dragon Breath Gyarados, there is absolutely no fast move pressure here, and it's going to be only those Aqua Tails that are going to put some pressure, but probably expecting, yeah, the Charm that went through.
Yeah.
No shield on Savage Boy. It makes sense because obviously uh, there is still the meta, even if it doesn't have a lot of HP.
Yes, yes, definitely. Maybe we see a shield now because Sylveon has quite some energy. Yeah, wants to save the
Yeah,
energy to bring it on the next, on the last Pokemon.
makes sense.
Oh,
And
see it.
yes,
Okay,
catching the Meteor Mash into the Gyarados.
this is resist. It still does decent amount of damage.
Yeah, still some nice damage. And here, Marco still has two shields and a Snorlax. So this is going to be a very close game.
Because Sylveon still has some
Ooh.
energy.
Yeah, Sylvan still has a move banked.
This is gonna be really, really close. No shielding here. Recognizing.
Yeah, shielding the first Aqua Tail, and now he's going to tank this one. This body slam is going to put the Gyarados in the red.
Yes. Oh, we see us. Wow.
Yeah,
Accidental. Yep.
that was crazy. And yeah, farming down. Ooh.
Ah,
And here comes another Aqua Tail.
there no shield.
And we see an aggressive swap here.
So yeah, this should be a
Uh,
CMP tie.
It's a CMP, and I think he has another body slam ready, so that should be enough to KO. Yes, it does. It's going to be enough to KO. And here, the answer: can the Gyarados Dragon Breath down before being leaked down? Here, and unfortunately not.
Not possible.
And Team Grookey has 11 points to win this matchup. Obviously, the two players that are going to play this last game, but this is a huge win,
Ah,
especially if you see how stacked the EU Emperors are as a team.
definitely. Grookey ending the 12 win streak. The EU Imperials were still unbeaten in factions. Now we see Legendary coming in, bringing in the Dialga.
Yeah, seeing this Ando level 51 and level 50 Dialga at least.
Oh,
And this time we see the Machamp, the core we were talking about, Dialga Machamp. It's a Shadow Machamp, so this will do a ton of damage as you can see. And it's a CMP tie.
no shield on the Excadrill. This takes it out, securing switch. We see a
Keep
farm down
going.
Gyarados. Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. It can farm it down before reaching a move. Expecting again to see the Dialga. Oh, and this running outrage. on the Gyarados. That could do tons of damage if it's goes unshielded, and it does. Huge. And now swapping into the Metagross.
Going for the bait here. Marco calling the bait. That's huge.
Ooh, this is huge. And now swapping into the Gyarados. So Marco looks like in a good spot right now.
Yeah, definitely. Also getting a shield on the first Meteor Mash, it puts it into really, really good spot. Up a shield now. Gyarados is still really healthy. Going to shield.
Exactly. And going for the bait, the Aquatal goes shielded. And this double shielding is Gyarados here.
He's probably not expecting that the opposing Gyarados is getting to an outwitch, so the Meteor Mash does more than the Aqua Tail. So spending the
Yeah,
shield
and
feels really comfortable spending the shields here.
exactly. And here we saw Marco trying to sack into the Gyarados. Unfortunately, couldn't. And here comes. Yeah, that's a very nice move on Savage Boy.
Yeah,
Making the Gyarados to throw his energy, because like that he can safely farm it down before he can reach the outrage, and he will have a crunch ready for the Metagross. So very nicely played here.
really well played, yeah. Not giving Marco any chance in the ending of this game to win this, making any mistakes.
And making it 10-11. So what a close game, chat,
Yeah.
we got. I mean, we were looking at the names and looking at the different winning streak those two teams had. We were expecting a very close game, and we got served.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely got served here. And making it so close in the end. I think it was 9-6 for Team Grookey, 9-3 for at some point.
Yeah, it was
Coming back
9-3 at some point, and
shows
that
the quality.
yeah, that was a huge run by the EU Emperors, coming back from a 9-3 deficit to really make sweat the Team Grookey team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you take a look at two teams like this on paper and you take a look at the caliber of players on paper, it's hard to imagine even one team having any necessary advantage over the other. So you'd expect it to be a super, super close set like this. That's what we wanted. That's what we got it. But, we did see the Team Grookey field specialist players just delivering that extra oomph and getting a game or getting a whole series in factions that comes that close to the wire is always super, super entertaining. And in that Master League matchup, those games can be so swingy. It was super interesting to see, no players opting for legendaries until the last game. But the power of Dragon Breath Gyarados in that format cannot be understated. And congratulations to Team Grookey breaking. I have to imagine one of the longest winning streaks that exists currently in Silph factions anywhere. I can't think off the top of my head another win streak that has been going on quite this long. I believe that Marylanders over in NA had theirs brought down last week as well. So Giants toppling left, right, and center, and this has got to feel good if you're Team Grookey for sure.
Definitely,
Definitely.
definitely, and that was huge. And it's a bit like in Gym Breakers format, a 3-0 year. And it's huge in factions. So for those who are playing factions, don't try to not be 3-0. I know sometimes it's harsh, but I mean, really gaining 1 point can be huge for the team, even if you lose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that all the person that knows me out there knows how big of a fan I am of team formats, and any team format where every game matters, the 3-0 just hits that much harder. You think about, your personal, your 1v1 tournaments you play. The difference between losing 1-2 and losing 0-3 is, sort of you lose a little bit of complaining rights. Like, oh, I lost a really close 1-2 set, but compared to, oh, I got 0-3. But in these team formats, in these faction formats, they just matter so much more, and I do think that I believe we've been informed that it is the APAC team, the Japanese team over in the APAC region is still 13-0. Those players are Goliath, so the last undefeated team that still exists in factions globally down there in APAC. So hopefully the FSPN will make their way down there next time, and we can get to take a look at some of those incredible games from the APAC region. But thank you so much for Spleen for joining me. Thank you so much for EJB for joining us today. This has been an incredible showing. We got to see some of the highest tier battlers available, and we got to get some insight from high tier battlers in your own right as well. So thank you for joining me today. Before we close the curtains. Sorry.
Thank you as well to the Silph Arena
Oh yes.
to have to talk to us and to propose us to cover this. As we always say in the academy, there is a bit lack of coverage of EU players. Most of the time, carrying in EU, you have a lot of amazing players. Some of them are streamers and are quite well known, but there is a bunch of very interesting and high skill level here, and I'm looking forward to the future and to see more of this EU Diamond Tier faction games.
Yeah, absolutely, and the EMEA region as a whole, we do have amazing players from all over the place taking part in this EMEA, region, and in these factions, we see players from America making their way over, like Creaser. We see players like Roger Chen throwing their hat in the EMEA ring. So it is certainly super exciting. EJ, when are we going to get to see the Wasted Potential win spike up and get you guys on the Silph FSPN coverage?
Yeah, we had a really rough week last week, but we still have to face both of these teams, Team Grookey and EU Impures. We are really hyped for these two battles, and we absolutely need wins.
Absolutely.
So maybe soon.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited as well. Well, we will go ahead and close the curtains on this stream. Thank you so much, you two, for joining us. Thank you so much, everybody else watching, for taking the time out of their day to stop by. Thank you for everybody's patience for dealing with my technical prowess, or lack thereof, rather. Spleen, what's going on over there?
Yeah, Payne. Someone was Adib was asking to us that we could rate Toe.
Oh,
That went
yes.
just live. So I
Absolutely.
guess that could be interesting if you want to see. If you are still interested in seeing some high level, I don't know if he's playing remix today or open Great League, but it's always nice to watch Toe. Always some high level plays in there.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. We can go ahead and hop on over that way. But again, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by and spending your time with us wherever you are, whether you're in the Central European Summer Standard Time, whether you're joining us bright in the morning in Central or mid-afternoon on EST. We appreciate everybody being here. So thank you so much. And without further ado, we'll send you over to Tho.